Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to another new video of mine. Today, we're gonna talk about whether you should attend university or not in 2020. Now, I think that this is a very important question to consider for many high schooler in the senior years right now, and also for those who have left high school for a few years and are thinking about getting back to school. Then this is a video for you. In this video, I will go through many important points, so make sure to stay to the very end. Now, as of the making of this video in May 2020, the world we live in is not the same as, say, a year before in 2019. Prior to this year, I have a very different opinion about furthering your study after high school. But in this year, because of what is going on in the world right now, I think it is beneficial to many people out there who are considering studying in university this year to explore this life-changing question. So without further ado, let's get this video started. Now, before 2020, it was a lot easier to either say yes or no to going to university. I feel that the world was slightly less complicated back then. But in 2020, because of what is going on right now, there are way more factors to consider, which is why I really want to make this video for you guys. So let's address this question with a big yes answer first, because I feel that it's a little easier to say yes to this question. Now, there are still many careers in 2020 and in foreseeable future that will definitely still require you to go to university. That's just non-negotiable, such as becoming a medical doctor and a lawyer, among many others. So if these are your passion, then you pretty much have no choice but to attend university. And the rest of this video is pretty much irrelevant to you. Gosh, I know this word irrelevant sounds really scary to many thirst trappers out there, but anyhow. Okay, so having a college degree, no matter what your major is pretty much an expectation nowadays. Just throw a dart at a random person on the street and the person is most likely a degree holder. There is no point in history that there are more people with some form of tertiary education than right now. So you need to ask yourself, are you going to look for a normal job once you step into the workforce? Well, normal jobs do have their perks. For one, it's relatively stable. Now, I know I'm just generalizing here, but say comparing to having your own business, working in a normal 9-to-5 job is still much more predictable. So if you decide to get that stable job in the most hassle-free manner, then having a university degree, whatever the major is, will help you become more competitive in landing that position. And in future video, I will also discuss what major should you undertake in university, but let's touch on some obvious ones here first, such as computer science, engineering, and business, etc. These are some of the many degrees that can land you better jobs. However, you want to define what better means. So definitely, having a degree is a more stable and less risky move here, provided you don't bomb all the finals and actually have decent grades. Because come on, the employers are not going to hire you when they see all the C's and D's on your transcript. So if you're willing to put in some decent effort into the 3 or 4 year program, then having a decent job should not be too difficult, generally speaking. But I really want to point out that some degrees out there are less useful than others. I'm not going to dive in too deep here though, but just keep that in mind. Next question you should really consider is, which university should you attend? Now, this is a very huge topic. Again, I will make a separate video for you next time. But the main takeaway here is, you do not need to go to prestigious and expensive schools. Yes, I understand that these schools provide great networking opportunities, but they also require you to pay exceptionally high tuition. Are you willing to take up that huge student loan? Even prestigious schools have differences in tuition costs. So I really urge you to do your own research. At the same time, there are many schools out there that will still give you a decent exposure to great employers with a more acceptable tuition cost. It ultimately still depends on how you make out of your time during the 3 to 4 year program. But of course, if money is not an issue for you, then ignore everything I've said. Now let's flip the entire table and answer the big question with a big no. So earlier we talked about having a normal job. Well, good news is, you don't necessarily need to have a degree to get these normal jobs. You can simply get a diploma from a community college instead. For one, a diploma is much cheaper and can often land you a job much faster, because a diploma is usually a more specialized program even though it is less academic. And you will carry less debt entering the workforce. Now, for example, being a police, a pilot, a fireman, paramedic, electrician, and trades, etc. All these earn very decent money, and many diploma programs out there will help you get those positions. Yes, having a degree will definitely look nicer, but many positions such as those mentioned above really don't differentiate a degree from a diploma much. So getting a diploma is definitely something you may want to consider, especially the cost of a degree is at an all-time high, and it's just going to keep going up further in the future. The second reason why I would say no to getting a degree is obviously the financial concern that you really need to consider. Can you afford any university program to study? Are your parents or relatives going to help you out? Have you considered your chance of getting a scholarship? Or will you be securing a student loan? Or can you find a part-time job to pay for your tuition while you study? These are all great questions to ask. So if you're sure that someone is going to help you out with your tuition, or if you're confident of getting a scholarship, then great. But what if you need to get a student loan instead? The last thing I want you to have is to carry a huge student loan on your shoulders after you finish university, especially the job market is not going to be that promising in the foreseeable future. Now, this also applies to those who are thinking of getting a part-time job while studying to help paying your tuition. Again, the job market affects many sectors right now, so don't count on getting that part-time position that easily, at least for now. On the upside, you may want to consider starting your own business. Many businesses require very low overhead, especially in the social media industry, which the younger generation tends to be very skilled at. Now, I'm sure you have heard of how many teenagers and young adults getting rich through YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and whatnot, just to name a few. But can anybody do that? The simple answer is surprisingly yes. You just have to be consistent and keep on improving your content and your skills and actually know what you're doing. But of course, it is not traditionally considered as a normal and stable job. As social media changes all the time, the future is not always certain. For example, you may not be getting the AdSense revenue from YouTube in future because YouTube may just change their business model from the ad-based to subscription-based. So it's definitely something you need to consider. At the same time, I have also witnessed many successful businesses and business avenues out there started by really young people, such as dropshipping, Amazon FBA, affiliate marketing, the list goes on and on. I will go more in depth into these topics in future video. But back to the OG topic. There is so much you can do on your own right now without a college degree. Heck, you don't even need to finish high school for that matter. But with that said, I still encourage people to finish high school first at the very least. So just do it.
Just do it!
So if you decide to have your own online business, then I would recommend you to start right now. The earlier you start, the better. And to keep your overhead low, consider staying with your roommates or with your family for the time being. When you are first starting your own business or social media venture, it's gonna be slow for a while at the beginning. So consider getting a part-time job. I know it's hard as mentioned earlier, but having some small income helps because you still have bills to pay and groceries to do. Don't forget that even PewDiePie had to work part-time in a hot dog stand during the beginning of his YouTube channel career just to make ends meet. I will also make a video in how to make money on the site in the future, so stay tuned to that. And I also want to point out here that having your own business or online business is going to be tougher than before this year, simply because the world is moving a lot slower. There will be less sponsorship for your social media venture, less volume and speed for your dropshipping and Amazon FBA businesses, etc. So it may take longer for your business to take off than before, but of course, it still depends on how you run your own business. So in 2020, what really changed? In previous years, it was much easier to either say yes or no to getting a degree. But in 2020, the line is not a clear cut anymore. If you want to get a degree, then you may be faced with a huge student debt with no job guarantee due to the foreseeable market. At the same time, not getting a degree and have your own business may not seem plausible due to the world not moving as fast as before. It really sucks that there is no easy way out here. I can't tell you whether getting a university degree is good for you or not at this time. It's really case-by-case basis. But it is still quite safe to say that some degree programs out there are still high in demand. If becoming a doctor, a lawyer, or a computer science engineer is your thing, then it is easy to just say yes, go to university. But for the majority of you, you really need to write down all the pros and cons for yourself at this time. If you want to go and get a general degree because you believe it will give you the edge or a more stable life, then at least find a cheaper option for yourself, or find a degree program that is less than 3 years. And yes, they do exist. Because at the end of the day, having a huge student debt is not fun, and it's really not worth it. Getting a diploma seems to be the middle ground here. You will be competitive for certain jobs and not carrying a huge debt. And it's something I think is a safer bet here. And if you want to take a risk and have your own business, I still fully support you here. In this day and age, we have seen enough people who became successful having their own business without even going to university. You just need to plan your business properly. Which in the future, I will make a video on how to start your own business, so stay tuned for that. One last thing I want to point out is that many people often end up working in a field that is completely different than what they studied in university. Myself included, I studied accounting in university, but I ended up doing nothing related to accounting. So a little food for thought for you. Alright, thank you so much for watching to the very end. I know it is a very deep topic, but I know that I need to give you this reality check and list out what the possibilities are. If you think that this video is beneficial to you and to other people, I would appreciate if you can just click the like button and subscribe to this channel. It will really help this channel to grow and allow me to make more informative videos such as this one in the future. Alright, thanks for watching and peace!